Headbanger, the show where we interview interesting people here at Nash. And this week, I'm joined by the one and only Amy Mellencamp. Amy, it's good to have you on the show.
Hey.
That was Angela coming back.
Okay, well,
hey.
I was actually listening to people do this, and I was like, oh, I gotta come up with something great to respond to when he's like, Amy Mellencamp. But I didn't really come up with anything. I was just
So
like...
you just came up with, hey.
I was like, maybe nonchalant. I don't know.
Yeah, the aloof.
Did it work?
Yeah, you
Hey,
seem...
what's up, guys? It's Amy. You know how it is here in the crib. Headbanger, banging heads.
North Alligator.
North Alligator.
Okay.
Great.
So you actually listened to the Headbanger?
Yeah, I did. I did last night because I couldn't sleep. And
Nice.
I was listening to it, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So then you know exactly how we do things around here.
Yeah.
Then let's just...
I do.
Well, I don't no need to explain. I'll just dive right in.
Okay.
You
could explain it.
Oh.
Just because, yeah, you should.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, right.
So I'm gonna ask you a series of questions, and if they tend to get intense near the end, especially.
Gosh.
So there's no, you have no obligation to answer the questions. If you'd like to pass, just pass.
Rightio.
And we start every interview off the same way with the Owen Chase effect.
Right.
So Amy, what is your favorite color and
Okay.
why?
I got you. Spunky blue. And you know it's spunky blue because it's like the blue that it's 3 a.m. They pick you up in a Jeep and you just drive a lot and get tons of food and just go on adventures. That's the spunky blue that I'm talking about. Because it has a personality, you know?
Yeah, well,
Right.
that's always my follow-up question. It's like, how does your color relate to who you are as a person?
Frick.
I think you couldn't have described it more perfectly.
Right.
But like, I feel like, I mean, well, do you have like, that's, you were just saying like spunky blue, getting picked up at 3 a.m.
Right.
There seems to be a sort of like, last minute, like, let's go on an adventure kind of attitude.
Oh, I am so down for like just spontaneous adventures.
Yeah.
That's all that I'm about.
Do you have any in particular that like are notable?
Well, Frodo and I go on some, and we go on wood hunting. So we went to
Of course.
my middle school, and we went in the woods, and then we just started like cutting down some trees.
Oh.
And it was winter. I think it was when we had a cancellation. And then we just got the sleds and we brought back all the wood. And then from there, we drove past a pond and then we were like, hey, let's walk on the pond. And it was actually hard enough that I got my ice skates out and we went skating and tried to play hockey.
You just nonchalantly had ice skates?
Well, no, not like in the car. I'm like, whoa, look
Yeah,
at this.
I
We
was
went
like-
back to my house.
Okay.
I mean,
I was gonna say, I was like, what? You were
it's
really
just-
prepared.
It's just such a spontaneous adventure. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so like, would you say that kind of describes your outlook on life? Just like take it as it comes, you make the best of any situation.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I try, but probably not all the time.
Well,
Like, I gotta plan some stuff out.
of course, but like,
Like,
what?
college, I had to, like, think about that. I wasn't just gonna be
Okay,
like,
that
this
is
is
true.
fine.
That's actually a really good point because I haven't ever asked you about college like in depth. So do you mind sharing a little bit about like your plans and
I mean,
experiences?
what do you
I
want?
mean, just like surface level things. I mean, I'd like to know
Okay.
like, do you have an intended major?
Right, I want to be a math teacher for some reason because right now I'm terrible at calculus. So that's kind of putting a damper on my plans.
Okay.
But there's tons of things that I want to do, so let me just describe all the jobs. I want to be like a pop star and go on Ellen, and then I want her to think I'm really cool and give me a mug. I want to work at Ben & Jerry's, and Ben & Jerry's is known as like Vermont's finest ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go to Vermont, and then I'll be like, here's some of Vermont's finest, served by Vermont's finest, and then I'll get fired. And then I want to be a masseuse in a German hotel because I actually visited Germany and we went to a hotel called Edelweiss. So you can get a job there and then just live in Germany. So I was like, I'll just become a masseuse and massage people in Germany.
So there's definitely some conflicting things.
Right. I
Where
mean,
does-
I can do it all.
Of course you can. You're Amy Mellencamp.
More realistically, though, I'd probably be a math teacher at a high school and then a drum instructor at the high school as well for the marching
Yeah,
band.
I was gonna ask where music is fitting into all
Right.
of that. That's such a central part of your life.
Radio.
And speaking of which, I mean, man, like you do it all, you know?
Ooh, I can't
Oh,
bowl.
you
I can't bowl.
Bowl?
Yeah, like bowling, bowl.
Okay, I mean, I'm really in the context of music. Amy.
Oh, okay. Still though.
Well, yeah, but you know, I mean, it's like a known fact to NA that you are.
Really?
Oh yeah, you're an
Frick.
amazing drummer. Because you were like, weren't you lead snare freshman year? What
Well,
was
it's
it?
mostly like the seniors.
Yeah.
So I'm drum captain now, so that's pretty
Right.
cool.
But you were, I mean, I know you like made some waves when we were down at NAI, like
Nice.
for sure. I believe me.
I didn't actually
heard
know about
it.
this.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was just like everybody knew about it. But I think,
Radio.
I mean, I've played with you in so many different.
Yeah, I remember jazz band with you.
Exactly.
And every day you would ask me if I had food, and I was like, I'm more than just food, okay, Davis.
I know, because I would always like forget to pack a snack, and you
Right.
always had one.
Right. Okay.
And
yeah.
then we were like, it was like this is rhythm section like bonding,
Right.
you know, and then I quit, but
Yeah,
that's
that
really besides the point.
messed up.
So yeah, we've played jazz. I guess we played rock and roll together.
That was so much fun.
Yeah. There's been so many different genres, like we've like explored a lot of different styles, but I think probably when I'm most impressed with you is when you kind of tap into that indie type of like music
Right.
style.
With like the ukulele
and
kinda
like
acoustic feel.
your voice is perfect for like edgy indie music.
Edgy? Is that what you
for
said?
Sure. I mean, I don't want that the connotation of the word to like scare you away. It's like that. How do I describe it?
No man.
Panic
just
at
go
the
for it.
Disco,
Really?
like combined with, I don't know, an acoustic songwriter.
Cool.
Like that's the kind of vibe I
That you
get
get?
from you. Yeah.
I mean, to be compared to Brendan Urie, that's pretty cool.
Well, yeah. I mean,
His
he's
vocal range.
definitely a cool guy.
Oh my gosh.
I think he said like his octave, like it's something crazy. He sings in
he does it all.
I don't
even know.
Yeah, he's definitely an amazing musician.
For sure.
So where do you feel most comfortable? Like at what, like doing what, in what style or what instrument do you feel most comfortable and alive in your music playing?
Probably not drums, because I'm always held to like a standard and I always expect a lot of myself there. But for ukulele, like I'm a beginner and I'm learning and it's pretty casual for me because it's not like I'm in any competitions or anything. And I use it as an outlet for a lot of my emotions. So whenever I go to my ukulele, it's because I have a reason to. And I just let that like soak into my songs, and that's when I feel like I can really express who I am.
I can definitely relate, but yeah, that's great. I mean, I think music is something that, like, if you are passionate about it, it will
Take you far.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And it'll also develop you, like your tastes and your experiences will change, Like I guess, I mean, I started playing bass, which is like this big instrument, and then I just like progressively got smaller. But I still like big instruments, it just,
Right.
there's definitely things going on here and there, like different instruments, like I just bought a melodica. It's my first reed instrument.
Dude.
Totally new world. Don't know what's happening. It's cool though. But yeah, I mean, you are writing your own music, right?
Right, yeah.
So what would you put a label on it, like stylistically speaking?
I mean, I guess indie was right. I mean, acoustic, basically. I don't know if it's pop, because pop a lot nowadays is just electronic.
It has such a negative connotation with
Yeah,
it
that
as well.
too. I don't know. I just write however I'm feeling, and however that turns out, I like it.
Oh yeah, and I mean your writing is beautiful. Just letting you
Thanks,
know.
man.
Of course. So who would do you have like any big inspirations for music writing?
Whenever something sad happens to me, I never write when I'm happy, or at least I try, but it does not turn out well. So whenever something happens, and it's not like this huge emotional event, it's just something that I think is like kind of provoking. I don't know. But like something will happen, someone won't spend time with me and I'll be sad and I'll write about it. Or I'm feeling differently about something and then I'll write about that. It's just little minor things really, but pretty important to me anywho.
So I know, just going along with that thought, I know that you performed a piece for Nash Beats,
Right.
which is also in the uproar.
Comfortable love.
Yes, any listener that has not seen that video should go watch it. Like, I mean, finish this podcast first,
Right.
and then go watch that video because it is incredible.
Thanks.
You and Melissa Metzger,
Yeah.
who is haven't talked to her since my sophomore year.
Wow.
She's a cool dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys were like that was beautiful. I love the harmonies and stuff. Did you write that? Is that an original?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you mind diving into the background? If
background?
not, it's totally
Okay.
fine. But I'm very
I
curious.
knew this was coming.
No name. You don't have to name names.
No,
or
no, I
anything,
won't.
But please.
Basically, comfortable love is saying, this is how I feel about you, but you don't have to feel the same way. You can just enjoy knowing that I care about you a lot. So it's because, when someone says, like, I love you, and then you're like, oh, shoot, I have to say it back, because
Yeah.
that's kind of the expectation. Well, my take on this song was like, hey, I love you, but it's in a way where you don't have to feel pressured to love me back. You can just feel comfortable in the love that I give to you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thanks, man.
No, it is.
We actually read this poem in English. I don't know if you remember it. And it reminded me a lot of Comfortable Love because it was going through the years of this like married couple. And I actually think it said Comfortable Love, and that's probably why it reminded
Do you
me
remember
of
what
it.
the title was?
Nope. Not at all.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. but-
Right. Well, I didn't give you a lot of background, so
No,
that's
it's
that's
okay.
fair. I was like,
I mean-
hey, do you know that one poem with people in it?
No, it's all right.
So yeah,
I think-
basically, Comfortable Love is just like a nice little love song, kind of cliche, but I don't know. It just
I don't
said
think
what I
it's
was
cliche
thinking.
at all.
I try to avoid cliche,
Of course.
but I mean, there's only so much you can do.
No, I don't think it's cliche. Just because like no one really thinks of it in that way. It's like that's definitely something that I'm sure a lot of people have felt. Like someone's like, "I love you," and they're like, "Thanks," and then
Right.
they feel horrible because they're like, "I mean, I don't love you." Like they may
Because
really
you
like
can't
that.
force an emotion.
Of course
right?
not. Yeah, it's just like I might really like this person, but love is not the right thing to describe it.
Right.
So it's definitely, I think it's pretty courageous of you to like really put that on paper. And it's like
Yeah.
this does not have to like be an issue in a relationship.
Right.
Because I think like if in love is so fickle and like it develops in such a wide among a wide range of experiences,
Right.
love can really blossom. So I think it's definitely like it's okay to feel maybe unsure when someone's like, "I love you," or you're like, "Whoa." So I loved it. I love the concept of it as well.
Thanks. It was also talking about how, just like I love everything about you, you know, and just your existence is awesome, kind of like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's your mannerisms, the way you think, the way you act about things. I think that's great. So it was, the song should be giving them, it's talking about my comfortable love for them, and it should be giving them comfort knowing that someone really appreciates who they are and that they shouldn't have to change.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I'm a big believer that you shouldn't change for people. My mom sent me this quote, and she's like, I don't know who it's from, but it's saying the people who mind don't matter and the people who matter don't mind. You know that one?
Yes.
Because the worst thing someone can do is take away your right to be exactly who you are. And so, like, really discovered this year about who I am, and I'm just gonna show it off because it makes me happy.
Oh, and show it off you do. In not, in a great way. Like,
Not
you
like
just,
yeah.
no, you are radiant. Like, your personality is definitely, like, unavoidable. Like, everybody kind of knows when you're around, and you're just like, there's so much. Oh, yeah. No. Really? You don't know?
No.
Oh, yeah. You light up rooms. Like, that's a cliche
Davis,
statement.
is there something you want to tell me? Do you love me?
I love you.
Wow.
Actually, I'd like to get into that a little bit differently. So, well, I'll save that. Just put that on the table.
Okay.
But this first question, I want to just quickly ask about the motorcycle.
Yeah,
I think
Conrad.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's a cool thing because no one else does that.
Nah.
I'm sure a lot of people are like, that's weird. That's dangerous. And then like the rest of us are like, that's rad. That is so
there's definitely
cool.
a mixture.
I mean, can you explain how you got into that?
Oh yeah, for sure. So my dad has like 5 motorcycles, and like he would ride them all the time. So like as kids, he would take us on the back of his motorcycle and we'd go for rides. And we actually went on this long trip one time, and I fell asleep on the back of the motorcycle, and he freaked out, and I was like, it's fine, it's good. That's besides the point. But so just a big motorcycle family. My mother also has a motorcycle that she rides all the time. So as a kid, I had a dirt bike, and I would ride that frequently. And just like all the way up till 17, I was like, I have to get this motorcycle. Because like 17 is when you can actually get a permit.
Ah, okay.
Right. So I've been wanting it kind of my whole life, and finally 17 reached, and I was able to act on it. Because that's why I got a job in the first place, to pay for the motorcycle. And yeah, and then I got it, and I was like, wow, this is way better than I could have imagined, because there's this freedom that you have. Because in a car, you're kind of blocked out from the world when you're driving. But like when you're on a motorcycle, you're just in it all, and you're experiencing everything. I think that's awesome.
Do you, like, is there a certain statement that you think is made, like, when you're riding that thing? Or are you, like, do you go on the road with a mission? Or, like, because, I know a lot of people talk about, like, you were mentioning the differences between cars and motorcycles.
Right.
Some people go on, like, leisurely Sunday drives.
Right.
Not me. I like driving, but I guess I like being focused while driving.
Right.
And listening to music, and I like the windows being down and all that. I don't know if I would ever actually drive a motorcycle. They kind of scare me.
Really?
But, yeah. But I can imagine the openness is huge. Like, what does that, like, or what do you want that to say to people? Like, when people see you, or if they just know that about you, like, instead of thinking of the stereotypes, what would you rather them associate that with?
Well, that was the longest question
Sorry.
ever. But I'm going to answer it how I think you're asking.
Okay.
So the statement that I make when I'm on a motorcycle is basically that people can do anything, because it's not really common, I guess, that you see like a woman or a girl ride a motorcycle. So the coolest thing ever is when I stop at a gas station or something, and then I like take off my helmet, and it's like a movie scene where like, the hair flies out, and then it's like it's a girl, because why shouldn't it be? Because I mean, women can do anything, guys can do anything. Of
course.
Everyone can do whatever they want, and I wanted to drive a motorcycle, so I did, and if others want to, they can too.
Okay.
That's basically what I'm doing.
Man, I can really picture that gas station thing.
Right. There were like Boy Scouts selling popcorn one day outside of a gas station, and I'm driving with my dad on the motorcycle, each on our own, and then like I take off my helmet, and they're like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, you know how it is. So
man, that's so cool though.
And then this one guy came up to my dad, and it was really weird because I was right next to my dad, so he could have just told me this, but he told my dad for some whatever reason. He was like, I really think it's cool when I see women on motorcycles. And I was like, I do too, but he wasn't talking to me, so I just like witnessed this connection with this man and my dad. It was weird.
That's definitely it's definitely a something that you don't see often.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was cool when I saw it parked at Nash. I was like, whoa,
Right.
that's awesome.
There's actually this security guy. His name's Melvin. He also drives his motorcycle.
Oh,
So one day I was driving Conrad and I was about to leave when he pulled up and he's like, "Do you have your license with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sir, let me just take it out," because I thought he was going to like be mad at me or something. He's like, "You want to ride my motorcycle?" And I said, "Yeah."
oh my God, that's
So
cool.
I just drove over to the other side of the parking lot and I got on Melvin's motorcycle and then I just like rode around the parking lot and came back and he's like, "You like it?" I'm like, "Thank you, Melvin." Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know, it was so much fun.
I mean, man, I could dive into a a different issue about Nash security, but I know I have other questions I want to ask.
All right.
That's cool. It sounds like it definitely like opens a lot of experiences and connections for you.
Right.
So that's really cool.
You definitely meet a lot of different people and connect over different issues. So
I would
think that's
imagine, yeah.
Pretty cool.
So that okay, the tabled question. This,
Right. Oh yeah, that you set aside
this
earlier.
love thing. Okay, so love is obviously the most complicated emotion. I mean, probably love and grief, probably the two things that a human can experience that, have like other emotions tied into what those things mean. Mm-hmm. They're so complicated and fickle, but they're ever present in the human experience. So, love is
Dude, your vocabulary right now, fickle, ever present. I have to up my game.
I have to
Watermelon,
like
onomatopoeia.
get to the level of the Morrises, but
Ambivalent. I'm trying to think of big words.
how about I don't know,
Pineapple.
xanthosis?
Okay, you know what?
Oh,
we
actually,
don't have to play this game anymore.
pulchritude. That's a good word because it connects to beauty and
Oh.
love.
Wow, look at you.
So, do you think there's like a difference between friend love and romantic love?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you think there's a bridge that connects the two of them?
This is like a short answer question that I would skip in a test. But but come back to later. I got this. So, you definitely feel something different because like with the I hope that I've experienced both. But I don't know, you feel more romantic with your significant other, with your lover, than with your friends. But I feel like it's easier to find the friendship love than it is to find, like, the passionate love.
I would agree, yeah.
Right. But you can feel more secure in the friend love because it's less of a risk.
Would you... Okay, that brings up a good point. So, would you say that, like, if you have this friendship love and, like, you see potential for a romantic kind of love,
Ooh.
but maybe that other person is very
Are you
turned
asking me for advice? I feel like
No,
this has switched.
definitely-
say my friend.
No.
Oh, you've come to the right person.
This is just a hypothetical.
Okay. I don't trust you, but I'll answer
okay,
the
Amy.
question.
So that other person maybe not be interested in that. Risk, I think, is the key factor here.
Right.
Because taking that risk is what could separate friendship from romanticism. So, do you think you can control the potential consequences?
Control. Manipulate?
No, not the same.
Okay.
It's like, okay, how about minimize? Minimize the consequences,
Right.
like, of a potential failure in that romantic endeavor.
I guess just the little things that you start doing differently to show that you care about them in a different way. Because you definitely don't want to take a big jump forward because, that's always really scary.
Yeah.
But it's always hard because it seems like the hardest situations is when you start out as friends and you want to be more than that. But I guess you're just going to have to be like, I'm going to pretend that this is your situation. You, Davis, will have to be very forthcoming and open, which I never like to be, but I feel like if you want to move ahead, you're going to have to open up at some point.
Of course. So I guess this is a bit more of a sensitive question. So if you want to pass, feel free. But I know that you're a huge supporter of the LGBTQ community.
Heck yeah.
Of course, I mean you're very vocal about your own sexuality. But a lot of people have, people that are supportive of gay rights, gay marriage, everything that they should be supportive of.
Right.
Just a side note there. A lot of people have a question about like bisexual relations, especially if like from a straight perspective. If that person,
I like how you put that out there.
Well-
As a straight man,
no,
ladies,
yes, ladies, I'm straight and I'm single. No, okay,
and other ladies, I am bisexual.
exactly. So, like, do you think there's, I mean, people never really voice explicitly what the issue is. I've heard people, like straight people, tell me, I don't know if I would be comfortable dating a bisexual person. And
Yeah,
so
that
I'm
is
really,
rough.
I'm really interested in knowing your opinion on that. For me, the first thing that comes to mind is maybe a loyalty issue, but that kind of ties into maturity
I
thing.
feel like
so
it's competition because there are more, prospective people that they could be dating. And so they're just a little nervous, I guess, or uncomfortable with the possibility of other people. But, I dated a bisexual girl, and at first I just thought she was lesbian. I was like, it's okay, I can compete with all the other girls. But then I was like, oh, she's also into guys, and that freaked me out because it's like, I'm not a guy. How can I compete with guys? But then I was like, oh, I'm bisexual. I should be understanding. So I feel like it's competition in that aspect, but they don't need to. I love this Little Mermaid. Under
Sorry.
the sea. But I feel like they shouldn't be worried because, it's all about personality for me. So, like, they like you for you, and you should just take it while you have it and not worry about
Of
anything.
course.
Because then you're just going to remember the relationship as, like, something, like, with guilt, I guess, that you could have done more, and you didn't.
So, just to set that straight, like when you, like if someone is really like nervous about, or just like they have those reservations about maybe getting involved with a bisexual person romantically, I mean, what is probably the mantra, like don't like throw away something potentially great? What's something that person should remember and not make themselves freak out over something that's probably not,
Yeah.
doesn't have any basis to it?
I mean, if you like them for who they are, then you're just gonna have to accept everything that they are, And you might be nervous, you might be uncomfortable, but it's something new. And if it could be great, you gotta go for it. You gotta give it a potential. That's
Okay.
what I would say.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just gonna switch gears here a little bit.
All right.
On the last episode of the Headbanger, I don't know, did you listen to that one with
I don't
Arlen?
know if I listened to all of it, but I definitely listened to the part where he dropped out of it, and I was like, oh, come on, man.
Oh, the race.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So there's actually on that edition, we kind of dove into the issue of existence, having free will,
My gosh.
whether or not we live in a simulation of sorts. These kinds of, the everyday questions.
You know.
But the one thing that Arlen, he was able to kind of speculate and talk about like how each experience changes him and that he's in that experience, in control of that experience. There was a lot of like openness in his sentence structure and his thoughts, but then the tone shifted in our conversation, and he was very definitive.
Is this analysis?
It is. He was very definitive in saying there is no higher power. There, like to think that there's a God or some deity controlling us just sounds illogical. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but he was very. I asked him pretty straightforward with the existence of a higher power, and he just said no.
Oh.
So I that is a completely valid opinion, and I disagree, but I definitely was intrigued by his perspective. So I'd like to know yours. Do you think there is a higher power, particularly like one omnipotent God? And if so, where do we fit in controlling our own lives and having God kind of guide us? Like, what is free will a thing?
Right.
That's a lot. So
Okay.
just take it piece by piece.
Okay. I do believe there is a God, and I don't go to a church a lot, and I should, and I want to, because especially with the Christian songs, it makes me really believe that there is a God. And certain things happen in my life when I feel really blessed, and I'm like, someone's responsible for my good luck, I guess. And I mean, bad luck happens too, but I still believe there's a God. And as how he controls us, I don't really know about that, but I like to think that I have some control of my life. But I'm sure he plays a hand in it too,
Of course.
for the better.
So there's the thought of predestination, which says with the classic line, everything happens for a reason.
Right.
God plays a part in everything, and then there is the side that, uh, basically deism, like God created everything and then stepped away, and then there's the more like, reformed idea that God is our rock, we are, like, how do I explain, he the Holy Spirit lives in us, we are one with God, like we need to be faithful and trust in him, and he will guide us, like he will show us where we need to go.
I don't know.
Would
I
you
feel like that's pretty good.
Yeah, so like right in the middle.
Yeah.
um
I feel like we have a lot of say in our actions, but he's always there to help us out when we need him. Or, whenever we have temptations, he'll be there to, like, just push those away and
Yeah.
help us out.
and speaking of those temptations, are rather the evil in the world, probably one of the biggest questions from both believers and non-believers is, what, if God exists and God is all powerful, why is there evil in the world? Why is Satan allowed to penetrate like this world that God is in control of? I actually analyzed this on the Uproar a couple weeks ago, in William Blake's poem Tiger Tiger. So Blake came to the conclusion that the answer is kind of irrelevant, because if we search so hard for the answer to why are good and evil together, if God is good and he loves us, we're just going to get lost in the dark searching for that answer. Instead, we should be more faithful and trust God to lead us through those evil times. So what's your opinion? Do you think that that's like, counterintuitive, that maybe like why does God allow evil, or is there some purpose for that evil?
Man, can we go back to the questions about what's your favorite color? Because this is way too deep for me.
You can definitely
I
pass
have a
if you
simple
want.
mind. I don't know. I don't know what a world would be like without evil. And if it would be all that great, Because I'm not saying, ooh, evil, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, I don't even know what I'm saying. Why did you ask me this question?
No, I think you're on a great track. Please
Thanks.
continue.
I will try. I liked what that guy was saying. If we get too caught up in trying to figure out why there's evil, well, then we won't enjoy all the good aspects of our life. Because if we focus on the bad parts, what's left of our life? So you just gotta enjoy the good parts and recognize that there is evil, but not be any part of it.
Okay. So would you say that God maybe wants to, like, he could, this world is not perfect.
Right.
So he's using those opportunities of sin and evil to really,
For us to rise above, I guess.
Yeah.
For us to, because evolution. We can make ourselves better, and he's giving us the opportunity, I guess.
Well, I think Huxley kind of tackled that in Brave New World.
Right.
So, that's actually, that was like the most profound part of the book for me. How did you enjoy that book?
I'm trying to remember this. Brave New World.
What was your opinion overall of that book?
I thought it was good. No,
Yeah.
It was no 1984. I definitely like
Yeah,
1984
I know.
better.
Yeah, me too.
We're just talking to Mr. Morris now.
Yeah, we're basically just
we're just waiting
whatever.
for a response from him.
That's okay. But yeah, I think at the very end, John the Savage discovers that Mustafa Mond is, like he's been harboring these books, and things that nobody else knows about from the old days before the Brave New World. Mm-hmm. And he says, like, I want that. Mm-hmm. I want sin in my life. And that was so profound for me. I think it puts emphasis on, like, you can never know happiness truly if you don't know the opposite.
Yeah, that always makes me really sad though, because I don't want there to be a cost with my happiness. I just want to be happy without having to know sadness. But I do see what you mean. I just wish it wasn't like that.
Yeah. But do you think after knowing sadness, you can definitely take your life from that point and then make it into something beautiful?
Definitely.
I think music, art, things like that, which you are very talented in. I think it'd be a good outlet to kind of take a negative emotion and make it positive, and then
I see what you did
yeah.
there. Right.
That's what I think that's important to think about and remember, especially, everyone has a different talent. It doesn't have to be musical or, painting or drawing.
Right. I don't like it when people have more than one talent, because I'm like, just pick something. It's not fair.
Well, you have many talents, Amy,
let's not make this about
promise.
me, okay?
I know, but, well.
Okay, it's fine. Whatever.
Still, though, I just, not trying to blow up your head, but.
You kind of are.
Oh, well, okay. But, yeah, there's a lot of weird questions with, like, happiness in the world, or what the meaning of our lives are.
This is the deepest I've gone in my thinking. I was eating an apple pie, and then I was like, what's an apple pie made out of? Apples? What's an apple made out of? And then I was like, what is an apple made out of? Because if you just think about this. If you go down to the smallest level, there's still something that's not even, like, close to what it actually is, So you can't divide everything to what its truest form is. So what is everything?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think that is a question that we're not supposed to answer. I mean, do you think otherwise?
I don't know. I'd like to know what I'm eating.
Well, that's true, but maybe someone will discover it and will,
right.
I
mean, I don't know what I'd do with that information. Like, what's smaller than an electron? If they actually come up with something, I'll be like, cool. And then.
Wait, isn't there something?
Is there? I don't know.
I don't know. There's something when they split electrons. It's like a neutrino. That's not. Neutrino. It's definitely not what it is.
Oh,
but
wow.
Whatever. 10th grade chemistry. I don't remember. It's there's something like that. It's not important, and I definitely don't know enough about it to act like I do.
Okay.
So whatever. Science is amazing, but I guess we'll just keep testing our limitations on it until we figure something out. Anyway, we're just running out of time, so we're chilling now.
Okay,
it's all good. So you don't have to
relax.
Be anticipating any weird questions. I'm gonna give you a quick plug to tell the people what's going on in your life, things to look forward to, just what's happening.
With me?
Yes, with Amy Mullenkamp. What are you doing?
I'm in indoor percussion We have some cool shows coming up where we get to perform a show about summertime. I also recently joined a drum corps up in New York, so every so often I drive the 5 hours to go there and play some drums. And they're really good, and it scares me, but I'll try to do my best. Prom Fest is coming up March 6th, and I am one of the models for the tuxes that Tuxedo Junction supplies.
Nice.
And I'm super psyched for that because I went there and I tried them on, and I look really cool, like James Bond, but like if he was a girl. So maybe Jametha? No, Jameson. That's still a guy's name. What would James?
Jane.
Oh, that's good.
Jane
Bond. That would be me. Yeah.
Nice.
That's about it, I guess. School stressful, as it always is.
But hey, there is more.
I like how you're trying to think of something positive.
No, I was trying to
School has lunch.
I'm talking the period we all have in common that we all enjoy. No, I'm saying there's college to look forward to. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
Of course. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have plenty of things going on.
Great.
All really exciting. So I hope they all go great for you.
Thanks, man.
It was really good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Really wanted to get you on here for a long time, so I'm glad it worked out. Maybe I'm really glad you could make it. That's really what I'm trying to say.
Cool.
So yeah, that just about wraps it up. This was the Headbanger. Stay tuned for more interesting interviews from interesting people, and we'll just keep tackling the issues of life one podcast at a time. Stay tuned, Nash.